Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alex Schukow, and this morning we're going to start off things by talking about my vision framework and my theory of action for our school. Really, it is the vision that sets the direction of our work together, so it's really important, and I'm excited to share this with you. This is about my personal beliefs and values. So, everything in terms of the purpose of school starts at the center of this diagram, okay? And that is really learning for all and learning for life. It is my belief that school is not just a place for students to learn, but it is also a place for staff to learn, for community members to learn, and for parents to learn. So pretty much everybody who either attends, works at, or visits this building, it's about learning. And learning is for life. Not only are we preparing students to be individuals who want to learn throughout their life, but we're also talking about learning for those adults that are in the room too. So really, it's learning for life. And when we talk about learning for life and learning for all, there are really 8 pillars that guide that work. These practices and structures that I feel are so important that if we do these things really, really well, it really guarantees for us that every single individual, every single student is going to have an opportunity to be successful and learn here at this building. And what's important about these 8 practices is that they blend together, they influence each other, and you're going to see that in some of the terminology. So really, we can look at this as almost like a pinwheel. We'll start at the top. And at the top, we look at technology. What's really important here is that technology can be used to provide access for students. That's really important. For example, in the form of assistive technology. But it's also used to modify and to redefine learning experiences. We're talking about creating new types of learning opportunities for our students through the use of technology. So it really can extend learning for students and allow some students the access to learning. Super important. We also talk about the community. This has to be a community of learners, and one that is rooted in a couple of really fundamental and important concepts. First, caring relationships. We need to show a love and a caring for one another, for our students, for our colleagues, and for people who enter this building. It also has to be a place where we really strive to develop cultural competency. So what I'm talking about there is we really want to understand different cultures. We want to understand the world, take a global perspective. The more that we can do this and the more proficient we are in this, it's going to really help us understand and work with one another. The last 2 are equity and social justice. So what's important here is that we're talking about creating fair opportunities for all students, and that's super important. Personalization. This has to do with instruction. We want to make sure that we're creating personalized learning opportunities for our students. That means they have voice and choice in the task, in the assessment, in the pace, the place, the time. Really what we're talking about is being learner-centered here. Okay, so when we're talking about giving up some power as the educator and acting more as a guide on the side, we are allowing the students or the learner to take charge of their learning. Creative and safe learning spaces. So what we're talking about here is, what is the environment look like for our students to learn in? And are we shaping that environment around the 4 C's? Collaboration, critical thinking, communication, and creativity. Are we developing spaces that allow students and learners to work together in this way or not? And they have to be safe. Safety is huge. If you don't feel safe as an individual, it's going to be very hard for you to learn. Feedback and assessment. So we're talking about providing students multiple opportunities to demonstrate learning, but also opportunities to get feedback so that they reflect, so that we promote metacognition and mastery. That's really what it's about. The content that we want to engage students in is got to be rigorous, relevant, and authentic. So it has to be important to their lives, and it has to require higher order thinking skills. Customization. We are talking about the whole learner here. And what's really important is that when we see that we need to intervene, we do so, whether that's academically, behaviorally, socially, or emotionally. This is really what we call the multi-tiered system of support. Culture of collaboration. So when we talk about the culture of this building, all right, it is really centered around these ideas. Collaboration. We have to work with one another. We have to encourage our students to work from one another. They should act as teachers and learners. We can all learn together. We have to really spur innovation. This idea of risk-taking, of growth, trying new things. That's what we want for our students. That's what we want for ourselves. And efficacy and empowerment. Most importantly, we want to instill in our students a belief that they can do whatever they want to do, that they can pursue their passions, because that's what we would want for ourselves. And so that is our job to do that. And the more that we can do that, the more successful that we're going to be. Now, what you see around here, this yellow band, really illustrates the four spheres that work together in the education process. It's the learner, the community, the school, and the family. And we have to understand that all of these play a role. We have to develop partnerships with community stakeholders, get them involved and engaged in the process of education. With our family, we have to understand the backgrounds of our students. We need to engage parents. Obviously, we know about the school, but the learner is really important. We have to understand that our students have to be active in the process of learning. It's not passive. They have to be engaged. Those who do the work do the learning. And finally, what we see here in the four corners, these really represent the vision and the mission statement for us. These are the phrases, the big ideas that guide our work. So when we talk about continuous improvement, it is our strive to be excellent in all areas. And that really, this is a process, a cycle. We're continuously improving. Learner-centered. All the work that we do is focused on the learner. That's super important to understand. Globally driven. This gets to our cultural competency piece. We are in a complex global society that has to be a huge influence for us, and we need to know about what's happening in the world and preparing our students for that. And then finally, future focused. We are preparing students for jobs that do not exist right now. So everything that we are doing, we need to make sure that we are preparing them for the future. That is our role. Thank you.